Hi everyone, it is Beth with Flying by the Seat of My Plants, and today I was just going to show you guys what I was going to be starting for the peppers, tomatoes, miscellaneous other things. It is March 1st today, so I got to get it in gear. As far as what I start first, I did start my herbs. I did start some snapdragons, some petunias, because I do want, hopefully they will have some blooms on them by the time I have my plant sale. So the goal for me right now, I'm in Northeast Ohio, and our last frost is the end of April, and give or take on that one. Last year, by Mother's Day, it was absolutely gorgeous, and a lot of people were buying plants, and typically we wait until the end of May to put our gardens in here in Northeast Ohio, because the weather, it can be unpredictable. But last year, a lot of people did get started around Mother's Day weekend, and everything was great. There was no frost after that, and I think our weather pattern is kind of changing a little. So, right now, as far as planning, I am putting the date for Mother's Day weekend for the first day of my plant sale. And of course, that's going to be weather permitting, to see what happens. If not, it'll be the following weekend. So I've been doing the plant sale for a few years now. So the first thing on the agenda is the hot peppers. They do sometimes take a while to germinate, and I want to make sure that I have peppers that are a decent size for the plant side. Don't want to get them started too soon, but typically I don't have a problem with germination. Last year I did have a problem with my Craig's Grande. I did do a test to see where, I did like 10 Craig's Grande jalapeno seeds, put them in a moist paper towel. I put them in a Tupperware container to keep the moisture in. And I did have like between 70 and 80% germination with those. So I'm not really sure what happened with why I was having such an issue last year with the jalapenos. But I did buy a new packet of the Craig's Grande just to make sure I do have plenty of plants for the plant sale. So I do the Craig's Grande jalapeno. This is a larger jalapeno, which I absolutely love for stuffing. I will stuff it with cream cheese and cheddar cheese and bake them in the oven at 350, probably for like, I don't know, maybe a half hour, 45 minutes. And you just got to watch it. I'd say probably a half hour. I didn't do it since last year, so I can't remember right now. But anyhow, they're excellent as an appetizer. I've had it at parties, and they're the first thing that people just grab. They're gone. So that's the Craig's Grande. The other is the pumpkin spice jalapeno. I just love the colors on these, and if you do like a cowboy candy, these are gorgeous. This one is the pumpkin spice, so I'll have that in my plant sale. Here is a lemon spice. I will have that in the plant sale. And here is the orange spice. And the thing with these jalapenos, you do have to wait until they turn color. They will start out green. You just have to be patient and let them go. And these, you want to start these 8 to 12 weeks before your last frost date. So again, I'm going to go by, I put in Mother's Day, so to be honest with you, I have to, I did 10 weeks. I have to start these tomorrow. So it is March 1st today. So those are those peppers. Also, there is the Hungarian hot wax I'll be doing. That's from M.I. Gardner. Now here is another one, Hungarian yellow wax, although it's still a hot pepper. I'll be starting these. So I gotta get those in tomorrow. And Yep, those, I think those are it for the hot peppers. Oh, I do have a, Abby, hang on a second, I gotta get Abby her treat. You want a treat? Hang on. Okay, so Abby has her treat, and getting back to the peppers. So those are the hot peppers that I will be starting tomorrow. I usually don't have an issue with germination, so hopefully I won't regret that. That's 10 weeks before Mother's Day if I start them tomorrow. So as far as the back of the package, it does say start 8 to 12 weeks before, so maybe I'll do the 9 week, because I don't want them getting too big before the plant sale, because then all chaos can break out when I had that many plants. Last year I had 1,000 plants that I started for the plant sale. So actually I might wait, not do it tomorrow, but the following weekend. And speaking of the following weekend, that is March 8th. It's a Saturday. If you're from my area, Northeast Ohio, we are doing, it's a woman's event. It sounds like a lot of fun, and I will be doing, I'll be a vendor there. And let me see if I could find, hang on. Okay, Mingle with Mimosas Ladies Night. So it is at the door, $25. This is at Richardson's Farm in Medina. It's a beautiful farm, a lot of organic food that they sell there. They have like a little general store there. So anyhow, that is March 8th from 6 p.m. till 9 p.m. And that's where I'll be a vendor there. My sister's actually going to be there as a vendor. It is ladies' night. It's $25 at the door to get in, and the proceeds from that is going to a good cause. Let me blow this up a little. So they're going to have some food. They're going to have appetizers, delicious drinks, all while raising money to support women in need in Medina County. So again, it's $20 per person pre-sale, $25 per person at the door. Saturday, March 8th, 6 p.m. to 9 p.m. Just a good time to be out with the ladies. It's a ladies' night. It's 18 and over, and that's mainly because they will have mimosas there. So anyhow, but it's all for a good cause. If you want to buy a ticket ahead of time, here is the phone number, 330-591-3332. If you want to order some tickets ahead of time and plan on going with a group of women, girls, and have some fun and shopping. So just really quick, I know I got to get into my seeds here, but this is what I'll be selling. I did some pots. They're absolutely gorgeous. And here's another one. Isn't that cute? And since it is before Easter, here's another one. This is a larger pot, so you can kind of see the size of them. And then I have smaller pots. There is going to be a raffle there too. So just wanted to go over that really quick with you guys. I hope to see a lot of people that I know there, people from, I do have a Facebook group, Flying by the Seed of My Plants, and hopefully I can see a lot of you there. And just come up to the table. I'm listed as Flying by the Seed of My Plants for my stuff. And so, all right, that's it about that. So getting back to peppers. Okay, so one of the fastest growers for me through all the years that I've been growing these, and it's one of my favorite peppers. I love to stuff it with Italian sausage, do some marinara sauce, Abby, no, and top it with cheese, but the Cubanelle pepper, I absolutely love that. So the Cubanelle, It says to start 8 to 12 weeks before your last frost. These I probably will start 8 weeks before Mother's Day. And I'm going by Mother's Day because that's when I plan on having my plant sale. Abby, no. Go lay down. Go lay down. Okay, so Cubanelle pepper, I went over some of the hot peppers. I thought I had some sugar rush peach peppers, seeds left over. I have to go through and find them. If I do, I'll have that in the plant sale. I did grow those last year in my garden. They're extremely prolific. And so one plant, depending on what you want to use it for, a hot sauce or whatever, I think one plant is more than enough. The other thing that I do grow, and I don't have the seeds in front of me, is I like to grow the paprika. So last year I did the sweet paprika, and then the year before that it was a hotter paprika. But that's awesome, where you can dehydrate it, slice up the pepper, dehydrate it, then powder it up for paprika, for the spice. And I never did get around to doing my sweet paprika. Last year was a very different year. Last year my brother passed away from pancreatic cancer, so it just threw everything into a different whatever. So this year I'm doing some paprika. I'm going to powder it up. The garden will not be as big as previous years, I think. I say that every year, but then, any gardener knows that we usually do a lot more than what we're planning on. So the other pepper, Jimmy Nardello, this one is delicious. Somebody said it has a hint of apple when you bite into it, and it absolutely does. It's like eating, you could get an apple flavor in these peppers. I thought they were delicious, so that's definitely going in the plant sale and in my garden. So the Cubanella, Jimmy Nardello, and the other one that I absolutely love, here's a Sugar Rush peach. And I do have seeds in here, so that will be in my plant sale. The Sugar Rush peach, it's a hot pepper. You can make a sauce out of it. You can dehydrate it and powder it up to sprinkle on different foods. The other favorite is the shishito. And, I get my seeds either from M.I. Gardener or Baker Creek. And the other one is Johnny's. So those are those peppers. And then, of course, I always have some bell peppers. A favorite is a Purple Beauty. Here is a Sunbright. And here's a California Wonder. Last year I did do a Mini Bell Blend. So I think I'm going to go ahead and put those in the plant sale too. And here's an Ancho Grande pepper, which is great for charring it and cooking with that. Golden California Wonder. So those are the sweet peppers there. So the Hungarian Yellow Wax, I already talked about that. So these pepper seeds I'm putting on the side because these will be started first, the hot peppers. And then another thing is the eggplant. Eggplant is 6 to 8 weeks before the last frost. So I'll have to go back, so it won't be next weekend, but towards the end of March that I'll be starting the eggplant. There's the Black Beauty I will have. The long purple eggplant I will have. So that's going in the plant sale and my garden. And so the other thing is, now I already did start some herbs. I got some other herbs I will be starting this weekend. The ones that I started already were the rosemary, some of the thyme, and rosemary, thyme. Did start some lavender. I got my onions in. So this one is a sweet marjoram. And those take a while to germinate. Of course, they popped up really fast for me. So, but I do, when I start my seeds, I have a grow light in my laundry room. It also gives off heat. And I think that actually adds to a quicker germination. And I leave that light on them until they start sprouting. And then I start the on off with the light. So they're usually on 12 to 14 hours a day, and then of course when I go to bed I turn it off, and this way you're giving the plants time to rest. So so here is the sweet marjoram. It's not saying when to start these, so I'll be starting those. Here is not a lot of information on the back of these. These are Livingston. I just picked up at one of the local nurseries. Okay, this one you start indoors 8 weeks before. That's their rosemary. Okay. Okay, here's sage, 3 to 4 weeks before the last frost. So I'm going to start some of those. Here is the dill, 8 to 12 weeks before your last frost. So I'm going to get that going. Flat leaf parsley, 8 to 12 weeks before your last frost. So I'm going to get that for the plant sale. Thyme, I have quite a bit of thyme already, so I don't know if I'm going to start more. Bee balm, oh my gosh, this stuff is awesome. So here is, I got these from M.I. Gardener. The bee balm will attract hummingbirds, will attract your bees. And let me see, 4 to 6 weeks before your last frost, I will be getting these going and hopefully have in the plant sale. I plan on doing that. Chives, I want to get these going. Let's see. Start indoors 4 to 6 weeks before your last frost. So the sweet marjoram, 6 to 8 weeks before your last frost. So chives are absolutely gorgeous. Here's a sweet marjoram. So that is 6 to 8 weeks before your last frost. Excuse me, sorry. Okay, so there we go with that. The onions I did start. You want to start those early because those actually, as soon as the ground is pretty much workable, it's been warming up around here. It dropped down last night. We had a little bit of snow, not much though. But I want to get the onions in early. They are frost hardy. So, okay, so what's next? Oh, the other is, of course, the Mexican sunflower. Now these actually, sunflowers you just have to be careful when you, if you start them indoors and you want to move them out. The roots don't really like to be bothered, so I would start these in an individual starting, so you can pull the whole plug out without disturbing the roots. And these, if you start them indoors, and these you can start, I've always started them outside, just direct sow. The only thing about these is they usually don't really start blooming until like August. So I am going to go ahead and try to start these indoors, so hopefully I can have flowers sooner than August. But August is typically the time where you start seeing a lot of the monarch butterflies. So anyhow, I am going to start these, some indoors, but also direct sowing outside. And here is a dwarf sunflower, so I do want to start these because I'm hoping to have these in some pots for my plant sale. And again, you just have to be really careful if you're transplanting them to a separate container. Don't disturb the roots. So the viola, let's see. These are frost hardy. Snapdragons are frost hardy. Now this, okay, start seeds indoors 8 to 12 weeks before your last frost. Grow in full sun to partial shade. These are more of a spring flower. The other one is the Cosmos. Oh my gosh, I love the Cosmos. And this one is Mulberry Rose Nigella. It's also called Love in the Mist. Has dainty, multifaceted blossoms that open pastel pink, then deepen to an enchanting deep rose. That sounds absolutely gorgeous. Sounds gorgeous. I did buy these from my local nursery. Mulberry Rose Nigella. So these, trying to see where it says. It says sow seeds directly into a finely textured, well-drained garden bed as early in spring as the ground could be worked. In mild climates, sow in cool fall weather for spring bloom. Oh, okay. Space seeds 2 to 3 inches apart in rows 6 inches apart and cover 1/4 inch deep, or broadcast thinly in a garden bed and cover 1/4 inch deep. Now, one thing you just have to be careful, of course, I've never grown these, so I got to really make sure that, you know, when I weed, I'm not pulling up these young ones. So that's one reason why I like to start some of the seeds indoors, so that I can identify them and I know where I'm planting them. Here's a double click bicolor violet Cosmos from Johnny's. Anyhow, those are those. So I did the peppers, some of the flowers, the eggplant, and of course like zucchini and different squashes. Those I'll probably start maybe 2 to 3 weeks before the plant sale, because they sprout really quick and they get large. But you can also just direct sow. I have done that a lot of times. I just like starting some of those, the zucchini, so when I plant them, I know where I'm planting them when I'm planting my garden. But anyhow, so that's a zucchini, probably 2 to 3 weeks before my plant sale. Okay, let's get on to the tomatoes. So now this is all, again, in my plant sale. So we'll start with some of the cherries. So one of my most favorite is a black cherry. So I got those from M.I. Gardner. I love these tomatoes. They're a cherry tomato. They kind of turn a little later in the season, and they're absolutely delicious. So that's a black cherry. Another one is the blueberry. And this, with the blueberry, they will, they're like a red, as you can see there, but wherever the sun hits it, when they start ripening, they turn to a purple. And this is also a cherry tomato, and the shoulders will get purple. And it's a delicious tomato. Another one is the pink bumblebee. So that's another cherry tomato. I love all the cherry tomatoes because I just love all the different colors, of course the flavors, and I like making that dish where it's the cherry tomatoes and I will get a 8x10 or whatever casserole dish, 8x12, your average size casserole dish. And I will put a couple bricks of the feta cheese in there, and then A lot of times I'll just slice these, you know, of course remove the leaves and stuff from the cherry tomatoes, but cut them in half and surround that bricks, and on top of the brick, feta cheese in the casserole dish, and I will sprinkle with Italian seasoning. You can add any kind of flavoring that you want. Garlic, again, the Italian seasoning is really good. And then I bake it in the oven. And what you're trying to do is melt the brick of feta cheese, and you know, once that melts, then you mix it all together. And in the meantime, you're cooking, like, let's say penne pasta, or I like to use a pasta that can hold some of the sauce on it. So penne pasta, you're cooking that. So when the pasta's done, according to the directions, and then I mix up the casserole dish, and then I will add either to a big bowl the mixture from the casserole dish to mix it all, and it's a delicious meal, or you add the pasta to the 8x10 pan, you know, whichever will fit all the stuff. Okay, so Purple Bumblebee. That is a delicious and pretty cherry tomato. The Tropical Sunset is an absolutely gorgeous tomato. Okay, here's another one that I love. Now this one is in the cherry tomato. They're not large tomatoes. They're probably the size of a golf ball. And that is the Queen of the Night. And I just love the colors, and just the way it matures. I love it. And the taste is good. Here is a Sunrise Bumblebee. So I'll be doing that. And another favorite is the Black Strawberry. Now, last year I did plant these on my one trellis where it didn't get as much sun as if I put it in the main garden or on one of the trellises in the front. So where I put this, it didn't have as much color in it. It's more, it changes color more with if you plant it in more direct sunlight. So I'm going to move these onto another trellis for this year. Because the first year it almost took my breath away just how gorgeous they were. So a lot has to do with the color and how much sun they get. So that's a Black Strawberry, Tropical Sunset. Okay, so last year I did have some people asking about the pear tomatoes, and typically I didn't do the pears. So this year I did buy a yellow pear tomato seed packet. So I'll have that in the plant sale. And here is a red pear. So if you want, leave in the comments. I have not really had the pear tomatoes for, you know, I usually do the cherry tomatoes. So this will probably be my first year doing the pear tomatoes. So that's going to be in my plant sale. Here is a Sweetie cherry tomato. It's a red cherry, because a lot of people do like the red cherries. Okay, I think that was it for the cherries. I might run into some in this pile, I'm not sure. Okay, so for the first time, I decided I'm going to try the Black Krim tomato. It doesn't show a picture of it, but it gets to a deeper purple. Last year I did, well, the last 2 years I did the Black Beauty. The first year trying it, I only got like 3 Black Beauty tomatoes. And so last year I put one over on the side, and the thing about the Black Beauty, I don't think I'm doing it this year. If you're in the group and you really want some Black Beauty, I will start a couple plants for you. But I'm not putting it in my garden, and I don't think it's really prolific. It was tasty, but it takes forever for it to mature. And I'd rather put something else in there. So anyhow, this year I'm trying the Black Krim. And here is a bestseller at my plant sale is the Ananas Noir. A delicious, juicy tomato. It has, to me, the flavoring of pineapple in it. So that is the Ananas Noor. Plus, you know, if there's kids that come with their parents to the plant sale, I mean, one thing I love about this, it's like growing a tie-dye tomato. And the kids do get a kick out of it. And so that's a fun one to grow, especially when you have the kids. Oh, here's a picture of the black krim. So I will have this in my plant sale. Another favorite of mine is the Paul Robeson. It's got a smoky flavor. It's just totally delicious. That's the Paul Robeson. Here is the Delicious tomato. There is someone in our group that absolutely loved this one. They said it was very prolific, so I will have some of those in my plant sale. Last year I did start these. This was the watermelon beefsteak. It's kind of a pinkish red tomato. And here is the regular beefsteak. So I will be having those in my plant sale. And here's a fun one. It was the Boxcar Willie, which this is good for canning and doing things like that. Yes, it is named after the time-honored country singer, Boxcar Willie. So it's a lot of fun, just the name in itself. But it makes a wonderful for canning sauces, juices, and eating right off the vine. Okay, Giant Crimson. This is something that if you have followed M.I. Gardener, great story behind this. This was pretty much extinct for about 50 years. And Luke from M.I. Gardener went ahead and he bought a shadow box, and there was a seed packet in there from, I don't know, over 50 years ago. And so he went ahead and to try to see if these would germinate, and he did. He got them to germinate, and he brought this back into circulation. So he is still, I guess, trying to get enough to where he could, hopefully, because when you buy a packet, you only get 5 seeds. So I will have this in my plant sale, so the first lucky 5 people will get, if they want, a Giant Crimson tomato plant. Okay, Cherokee Purple, that's another favorite. This is very prolific, and actually the taste really, between the Paul Robeson and the Cherokee Purple, they're really close in flavor, delicious. So anyhow, Cherokee Purple. And here's one I had in there last year was the Abe Lincoln. This was cultivated back in the 1920s by a farmer from Abe's home state of Illinois. Okay, so he wanted people to have an honest tomato. So there you go, the Abe Lincoln honest tomato. So, okay, these are amazing in tomato sauce, soup paste, or homemade ketchup. Probably just have a couple of these in there. So there's the beefsteak. Now here is a Supernova. So I did get these because they just look kind of cool. Let's see. They have stripes in it. And exceptional flavor, so we'll see. These 2-ounce fruits boast a stunning mix of deep red and orange and yellow hues, resembling a beautiful sunset. So I will be starting the Supernova. Does it have the size on here? 2 ounces, typical size. Okay, so here was another fun one. I thought I'm going to try to, and I'll put in the plant sale. This one is called the Mr. Stripey tomato. So, and these are, so far what I've talked about is indeterminate tomatoes, meaning they will grow and just keep on growing. Okay, the beautiful yellow-orange beefsteak type variety is high in sugar and low in acidity. So that's Mr. Stripey. Fruits can grow up to 2 pounds. Wow. Okay, that's Mr. Stripey. Ooh, here's another one I'm trying this year. This looks absolutely gorgeous. And every year in my plant sale, I always like to try something new, and we'll see what one sticks for the following year. This one is the vintage wine tomato. So that will be in my, now this goes back to 1980, so it's not that old. And it's an heirloom. It's a fairly new variety. You know, I have one contact in my eye so I can read up close, but I'll tell you, I need to go to the eye doctor and get a stronger. Okay, so the vintage wine tomato is a brandy wine variety of tomato. Glamorous red and gold stripes are bound to make an impression, sweet and mild in taste, making it a good all-purpose variety. They grow up 10 to 16 ounce tomatoes. But how pretty is that? Vintage wine. Okay, another beautiful tomato, and it's absolutely gorgeous, is the pineapple tomato. When I went ahead and first got these, I thought it was going to have a taste of the pineapple because of the name. But Ananas Noor, that does have a pineapple flavor to it. The pineapple tomato does not. But they're beautiful, absolutely gorgeous. They have the yellow and the orange, so when you slice into it, it's like a marbled with the, kind of like a pink center branching out on the center of the tomato when you cut into it. It's absolutely gorgeous. But anyhow, that is the pineapple tomato, and it's delicious, but it does not taste like pineapple. So here is another one, is everybody pronounces it different, Dr. Wyche, yellow tomato. I will have that in the plant sale. 12 to 16 ounces. San Marzano, I love these for canning, and so that is going to be in the plant sale. And the Amish paste, it's another delicious one for canning. And these, every year that I have grown these, which has been a lot of years, each tomato weighs up to a half a pound. So it's great for canning. These are very meaty. This does have a little more juice in it. These are kind of like they're not really juicy at all. I mean, it's all meat. And usually on the vine, I will get, oh gosh, anywhere from 8 to 10 on one branch. So, San Marzano. Okay, Paul Robeson and the Cherokee Purple, I already talked about those. So I think that's it as far as peppers and tomatoes. So if you are growing hot peppers, they do typically take a while to germinate. So a lot of people use a heat mat. Like I said, mine are under a grow light in the laundry room that gives off heat. That's where I start mine. And then I will move them back here. I have some here, and I got another shelf I'll be putting up. So right now I got onions over there. I got my snapdragons, which I have to up-pot all my snapdragons. And then I also have the petunias, absolutely gorgeous petunias. I have to up-pot those, and the herbs I have to up-pot. So things are going to get really busy around here in the next couple of months as far as starting plants. And I will start my tomatoes. This is a bigger 6-pack starting. And when I start my tomatoes, and you got to make sure you have your markers, because without your markers, you won't know what you planted. So it's really important. But I will put the date I start my tomato seeds and also what it is. Because once they sprout, they all look the same. You won't know until, you get your tomatoes, in July or whenever. So if you don't want any surprises, you want to know what you're buying and what you want. So anyhow, I will start them in a larger 6-pack. And in here, I'll put like probably 10 seeds in one cell, same variety. So to get the most started. And then after they sprout and they get their second or third set of leaves, I will separate them into their own little container. And then that's when when I up pot, I go to a larger, this one is probably, I'd say at least 3.5 inches deep. And if you don't start your tomatoes too early, pay attention to the dates. I don't want them to outgrow this pot before my plant sale, because then I'd have to up pot them again. Same with the peppers. And for me, because I start so many plants, it was a couple years ago, I just started the peppers too early, and I had to up pot all of them before the plant sale. Up pot them once, and then up potted them again, because they were outgrowing this container. So, and it just makes you use more soil and more work. So I got to make sure I don't run into that again this year, because it takes long enough to up pot 1,000 plants once. And when I up pot to these containers, that's when I add the fertilizer. So last year I got some fertilizer, and it was different. When I up pot, I usually use the M.I. Gardener Trifecta Plus. It's my go-to. I will continue to use it anytime I up pot my seedlings. It doesn't hurt the plants. Last year I tried a stronger, I think I ran out of the Trifecta Plus, so I went ahead and got a different fertilizer when I up potted, but it was stronger than M.I. Gardener, and I killed a lot of my tomato plants. So I don't know, if you're in the group, last year I wanted to have the bumblebees. They were affected by doing that. And at first I wasn't sure what was going on, why they were all dying. But then when I remembered what I did with the new fertilizer, and it was those specific plants, and I did the San Marzanos. I did get some to come back, and the bumblebees, but they were really slow. So you got to be really careful when you up pot. Don't use too strong of a fertilizer on your when you're up potting. But that is when I will start adding my fertilizer. When I start the seedlings, there is no fertilizer in there. They will feed off the seed. The seed gives them plenty of nourishment and food. And then I start using, I'm going to go grab that stuff and show you. Hang on a second. Okay, so here is the Trifecta Plus that I get from M.I. Gardener. This bag is 15 pounds. 15 pounds, I got to see, I can't remember how much he's selling it for, but I think it's like $50. It's worth every frickin' penny. So this is a 5-10-4. So it's 5% nitrogen, 10% phosphate, and 4% potash. There is calcium in it, 8.5%, magnesium, 0.8%, sulfur, 3%, iron, 0.8%. It also has a lot of, I don't know what you want to call it, like beneficial fungi, rhizobacteria. It just has so much good stuff in it, and I will never ever up pot my plants using a different fertilizer unless it's very comparable to the same ingredients that this is. Now this bag, like I said, last year I did like 1,000 plants. So And then after I up-pot everything for the plant sale, and then when I start to plant in my own garden, I put some of this in every hole. And then of course you can fertilizer as the season goes, so I probably will buy another bag of this because I don't want to run out of it. So this is when I up-pot. This is not when I start my seeds. Okay, so there's that. When I start my seedlings, there is no fertilizer or anything. Like I said, the seed provides that for the plant. So I won't up-pot until they get their second or third set of true leaves. So when they first emerge, the little leaves that you see are not true leaves. They are just the first leaves that start. And then they get their true leaf. And the true leaf actually looks like the leaf of the plant that you are starting. So that's why they call it the true leaf. And so once I get 2 to 3 sets of those, that's when I up-pot them. But in the meantime, I will, once they emerge, when I start watering, I will add this Neptune or a seaweed or whatever fish fertilizer. And okay, so for I'll use it as a compost enhancer. Okay, so anyhow, I'm going to use a diluted amount when I add to watering, my watering can. So once they start sprouting, before that I could spray the seeds, seedlings, before they sprout to keep it moist. Once they germinate, then I start watering from the bottom. So you have the tray on the bottom, no holes in it. I could show you really fast. I'll grab that real fast. Okay, so here are, oh my gosh, it smells so good. Here is the lavender, English thyme, and rosemary that I started. And when once they start emerging, I will bottom water, meaning I just add water to the bottom tray. I don't water on top. That's only when they have not germinated yet. And I will pour probably a quarter inch. You might have to experiment to see a quarter inch to a half inch of water in the bottom. You let it sit in that water and it will wick up into the soil. And then you'll notice that the soil gets a darker, richer brown. And once that has happened, let's say after a half hour, 45 minutes, if there's still water left in here, I pour it out. I'll just take it over the sink and just kind of let it run out. Because you don't want to waterlog these plants. And if you bottom water, there's a less chance of the mold. So if you're watering from the top, typically you'll get mold on top. So it cuts down on all of that stuff if you bottom water your plants. So once they get germinated, that's how I do that. Here is another fertilizer I use on my tomatoes and peppers. This one is called CalMag, and this is really nice. Now I do have a friend at work that is getting me, he gave me some last year of fertilizer, and as soon as I get it from him, I'll share it with you. But it's totally awesome. He sprays, it kind of looks like a Miracle-Gro. I have a feeling it is part of a Miracle-Gro. But this is after they're established and in the garden. And he actually sprays like once a week or once every 2 weeks. He will spray the foliage on his tomato plants and pepper plants. And he said he has fantastic results doing that. So I'll get more information on that when that happens. Okay, so, and I also have all the seeds that I got from Al. Hi, Al. He gave me a ton of seeds. And so that is the pumpkins. A lot of pumpkins were in there, the squash, zucchini, and stuff like that. So, oh, and the other squash that I'll be starting that I absolutely love was a sweet dumpling, acorn squash. That was delicious last year and pretty. And then, of course, I do the honey nut. And I think this year I'll be doing the regular butternut squash. And for a large one, the honey nut is just a smaller version of the honey nut or the butternut, and it is a little bit sweeter. So, but those are great for your winter squashes. And anyhow, I think that's it. I'll keep you updated as things go on. I will be transplanting, uppotting all of my snapdragons out of where they're at. And my petunias. So I do have to uppot those hopefully tomorrow, if not Monday, to get that done. And I do have a greenhouse, so once the weather really breaks a little bit more and I start getting my peppers, when the peppers start sprouting, they go out in my greenhouse. And I do have a heater. Hopefully our weather will break enough where I won't have to use the heater that much because it is expensive. It's an electric heater. So that's it, guys. And don't start too early, but don't start too late. And I'll be advertising more of when my plant sale is going to be. And if it's anything like last year, the weather, I am planning on starting the Saturday before Mother's Day, which I think is May 9th, which I feel like that is really early. But I don't know. We'll see. Last year, Mother's Day was May 12th. So, and it was gorgeous, absolutely gorgeous. So I don't know. Hopefully I'm not pushing it. But if it's not Mother's Day, it will be the following weekend that I will have my first plant sale for 2025. Okay, so I think that's it. So thank you guys so much for watching. Thanks for tuning in, and thank you to all the subscribers. I really appreciate you guys. And again, I will just, keep you updated on what's going on, and hopefully I will see a lot of you. I absolutely love this pot. And these are decoupage, painted, and then I decoupage a napkin onto these, and then I seal it with a really good sealer. Because these are terracotta pots, but hopefully I'll see you at Richardson Farms. And then I also have another vendor craft show, let me see, beginning of April. And that's going to be in Brook Park. So, and then possibly another one that I'll be doing in June. So I have to see. I mean, if I start running out of product because I sold it all, which would be totally awesome. All right, you guys. That's about it, and I hope you guys have a wonderful weekend, and I will talk to you on the next one. All right, bye.